Now we invite our congregant, Jason Melzer, for his D'var Torah.
So I'll start by saying something you've heard a lot of people say this year. It is so good to see all of you here. It is so good to see those back doors open and a full house in attendance. It's so good to be together. During Rosh Hashanah, I was sitting with my family thinking how good it feels to be together with all of you fine people. And I started to wonder, why does it feel so good to be together? What makes it so special? And I started to think and read. Starting from perhaps the most fundamental point of view, well, Hashem tells us that it's important to be together. After all, what is a minyan? We can only say certain prayers, perhaps the most important ones, such as Kaddish, if there's 10 of us together. Indeed, when 10 of us pray together, the Shekhinah makes itself present. God's presence is among us, so that's pretty special. Indeed, we are taught that in some respects, praying together is greater than praying alone. Why is that? I'd like to think that it is Hashem teaching us that we are stronger together as a community than standing alone. After all, we are not perfect. If we are praying alone, our mind can wander. I know mine sure does. It may wander to our to-do list or worry about our children. Maybe we aren't physically or spiritually quite up to the task, and we just go through the motions. We aren't praying with enough kavanah. Hashem knows that together we can support each other, and that when one of us falls, we are only human, and the others will be there to support and pick up the slack. That is the very essence of community. There are many stories that demonstrate Hashem's love for community. King Achab is infamous, known as one of the most wicked of Israel's kings. His wife Jezebel was also wicked. They led their people to live immoral lives. Under their rule, the people engaged in idol worship and many other sins of immorality, sins that God previously punished by wiping out entire populations of Israelites. There came a time when Jezebel issued a decree that 100 prophets be killed. Obadiah, a chief of staff in King Achab's palace, had advanced word of the operation and arranged to hide the prophets in 2 caves. He spread word throughout the community that he would assist them in sneaking into Achab's palace to steal food and drink they would bring to the prophets. The community worked together under the potential punishment of death to keep the prophets alive. Ultimately, the king and queen met with a very unpleasant demise, but Hashem had mercy on their subjects because they demonstrated the good that can come from working together as a community. One of the most important jobs we have as an individual living within a community is to be welcoming, hospitable. One of the greatest commandments is to greet people with a smile. After all, joy is infectious and transmittable. Energy is real. Being hospitable makes people feel included, special, and an important part of the collective. It also serves to grow the community, welcoming new members and setting the tone of love and inclusion. Perhaps more than anyone else, Abraham and Sarah are role models for what we are trying to achieve in creating a welcoming Jewish community. This is demonstrated in what I feel is one of the most poignant stories of the Bible. Sarah had been longing for a child for many, many years. One day, long after Sarah had passed childbearing years, 3 strangers came upon Abraham in Sarah's tent. Abraham literally ran back into the tent and asked Sarah to bake bread for the strangers, while Abraham prepared a calf for the group to eat. They fed the strangers, even bathed them. These 3 individuals turned out to be angels, messengers of Hashem, who told Sarah she would in fact bear a child. Sarah laughed in disbelief. However, 1 year later, she did indeed give birth to Isaac. What I take from this story is that reaching out to our fellow human to offer a helping hand while expecting nothing in return does in fact result in miracles. And I believe in miracles. I believe small miracles happen all around us. One of those miracles is the increasing strength and vigor of HERJC. While other conservative synagogues around the country are struggling to keep their doors open, HERJC is thriving. We were blessed with a new energetic and cohesive rabbi. We have such a dedicated and loving chazan who cares so deeply for our children. We have a tremendously hardworking and charismatic president. and so many more special people dedicated to HERJC. What merits such blessings? I am very certain that it is our community's ongoing commitment to support each other in a non-judgmental, inclusive, and loving way. Our sincere desire to make everyone feel welcome and to reach out to those in need. Time and time again, history has shown these principles are the principles that God rewards. My family personally experienced the very best of what HERJC has to offer when we became members over 2 years ago. Even in the middle of the pandemic, and when HERJC was in between rabbis, we were immediately embraced. We were the strangers among you, and you ran to feed us and shelter us, spiritually speaking. Our first Sukkot was spent under the Zakarin Sukkah. We feel blessed to be part of this very special community and look forward to playing our part in the next chapter of HERJC's rich history. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you and Shana Tova.
Shkoya. Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Jason, for the inspiring message.